One.
Well, Jesus Christ, ladies and gentlemen, Josh P. K, Alex Goldman, FTS MMA, hitting with a bit of a UFC 281 instant reaction. And I mean, if you watch the card, you'll understand what we're talking about because he's done it again. Alex Pereira defeats Israel Adesanya via TKO in the fifth. I'm very surprised after the fight that we watched. Not very surprised, but leading into the fifth, Alex looked tired. He looked tired after the third. The fourth round came up, and I didn't know whether Alex had the cardio to make it to the fifth. And it's like he was just saving it for the fifth. And you heard his coaches, Glover and that in the corner, and they said, "Man, you need a knockout. You need to finish." And he did it. I've never been so nervous to watch a fight. I was literally shaking that whole fight because at any minute I thought Pereira can knock him out at any minute, and it proved to be true because Izzy, in my opinion, was 2 minutes away from defending his title. I had Izzy winning rounds 1, 3, and 4, and then the fifth was subjective to how that would finish. But man, unbelievable scenes. What are your thoughts, bro? Because that was an unbelievable turn of events, I think.
So I think I suffered from a little bit of like card crash after the Chandler fight. For me, after the Chandler fight, I was real zapped, just in terms of energy wise. So I had that going into it. But as Izzy started to open up as the fight progressed, so after about the first round, so even during the second, he started to open up more. And then obviously the more you open up, the more you leave yourself open to be hit. I'm probably in the minority. It was a good fight. It was a better fight than I actually thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be much more 1-for-1. I'm probably in the minority here. I have zero desire to see this again. I think, and I understand why, and Izzy will get the rematch. I understand why. I get it. It makes sense. Like for the sport, it makes sense. But my two main takeaways are that I do think Alex Pereira just has his number. I just think, and I agree, Izzy was 100% winning that fight. And if 2 minutes had gone, Izzy probably would still be world champ. But I think Pereira just has his number. That's my main takeaway. My other takeaway is I think if Robert Whittaker fights Alex Pereira, he is going to absolutely
100%.
I think he's going to maul him.
I 100% agree. I mean, look what Izzy did. Izzy controlled. Izzy's by no stretch of the imagination a wrestler, and he was able to control Alex Pereira for a whole 5 minutes. I think the only thing Whittaker, if Whittaker can stay around the kickboxing, because again, Alex, this is why this matchup for me was the most interesting and exciting matchup I think there was the whole year, because it wasn't Izzy versus a guy like Cannonier where you knew he would stay on the outside. It was literally Izzy versus Izzy. It was an Izzy versus a replica of a guy who's a little bit taller and a little bit more powerful. And I felt like I was watching a Francis Ngannou fight where I was on the edge of my seat the entire fight. And you know what? I know people give Izzy shit for his cringe and everything, but man, I feel bad for him because he was 2 minutes away from a successful title defense against his boogeyman. Unfortunately, it's just happened again. Incredible scenes, man.
Yeah, it was definitely a wild fight, but we'll move on to the co-main event. I think this was actually better than a lot of people thought it was going to be. I thought people in general thought this was going to be a terrible fight or Carla Esparza was going to get run over, and she did lose. I did obviously kind of pick Carla. I thought she was going to win, but I thought Carla actually looked pretty good, to be honest.
I think she had a pretty good showing of herself. Like she didn't get mauled. You know what I mean? Like I definitely thought Zhang Weili would be too much, just purely on the feet and her strength. Just her strength. I mean, Carla has a very good base and she's very strong, but I just thought Weili's strength is just a bit too much.
I just don't know where they go next with that belt.
Yeah, I was thinking
you can't do Rose, Zhang Weili 3. I mean, you can.
Can you? You probably could. At this point, you probably could, but I mean, Rose is coming off a loss. Yeah, but she's coming off a loss. So it's like, I mean, if Rose has one, maybe you do Rose and someone else in the meantime, and then the timing probably that works. But yeah, wonderful performance by Zhang Weili, and I still think Carl is an amazing fighter. I just don't know if it's ever going to be against Zhang Wei Li. Apparently,
I don't know if Carla will ever win the belt again, just because of her age and a bunch of other things. But like props to her, man. Like she went out there. I think she put on a pretty good performance, even. And still has it. But moving on to sort of, honestly, this is probably going to be the biggest fight of the card. It's probably going to be a fight of the year contender. It's definitely round of the year. Round one is my round of the year so far.
100%.
I think we as fans are very blessed to have Michael Chandler in the sport, because he fought a lot smarter in this fight, but he is just tough as nails, and he's not going to go down unless he is out, and he's out of it. I think there's only one other fighter that's come into the UFC, had 4 fights, and reached the level of kind of star power and the level of popularity that he has, and that'd be Justin Gaethje. I don't think any other fighters have come close, not in 4 fights, putting on 4, either 2 massive knockouts or fight of the year contenders. Honestly, I don't think I think it's pretty viable. That I actually think Chandler McGregor is going to happen next.
100%
comes back. I think it'll happen now that he's coming off a loss. I think if he had beaten Dustin, don't think that happens. But coming off a loss,
I love that fight. I love that fight.
Someone dies in the first round.
That's a give me. I don't know about 5 rounds, because 5-round McGregor, I don't know how he goes. But
they're both not great of 5 rounds.
I mean, we're getting the sloppy 5th round, but I mean, imagine that fight at 3 rounds. Look, man, Chandler by all means was in that fight and had won subjectively. He had won first and second round. I mean, you could score that first round for Chandler. You could score it for Poirier. Nevertheless, Chandler is a dog, man. I was messaging my friend Khan and saying, man, he is a dog. He just does not quit. He does not give up. He is a savage of all savages. And I am a Michael Chandler fan for life. I don't know how you can't be. Props to Dustin Poirier. Remains to be the upper echelon of the lightweight division. Yeah, upper echelon of the of the lightweight division, and it's look, man, he's stating a claim for potential title shot. Now that Islam is the champ and is a fresh champion, but man, that was my fight of the year. I know it's a bit of recency bias, but no, I don't know how you can't name that your fight of the year. That was just insanity.
And I think regardless on if Chandler ever wins the belt, and I still do think that he can, but I think regardless on if he ever does, it's a Hall of Famer. So Hall of Famer for 100%. Sure in 4 fights, 100%. Which is ridiculous. But look, we'll buzz on through to the next fight. So we had, we said this. We both said this was going to happen in our prediction video. Frankie Edgar gets knocked out by Chris Gutierrez by the knee in the first round. This really hurt to see. I knew this was going to happen. Knew is a strong word. I really strongly thought this was going to happen. Just especially at bantamweight, where we said this in our prediction video. So if you guys haven't seen that, check that out now. But we said that at bantamweight, where speed is more important than power, and Frankie is 41, 42, it's going to be a big problem. And Frankie, even after his first big knockout loss, and this is not to sort of, pile on Frankie, but he's never fixed the problem where he dips his head when he really dips his head when he goes to fake a level change. And unfortunately, the guys of this generation caught onto it. But a good win for Chris Gutierrez. Sad to see Frankie go out like that. I really hope he does stay retired. I hope in a year we don't hear that he's taking a bare knuckle fight or a fight on Triller, or he's fighting Jake or Anissa or KSI. So I don't want to see that. I just hope Frankie stays retired. He's a legend of the sport. He's earned his time away from the sport. Dan Hooker, Claudio Puelles. I got this one completely wrong. However, I actually don't think Dan Hooker looked amazing. I think he looked good, but he looked very slow to me. He looked very slow.
I think he did I think he kind of was just playing with his food a little bit, maybe slow, but I agree. I thought he would have put away Puelles a bit more handily than he did. Nevertheless, I mean, I wouldn't call it an impressive performance, but he needed the win.
He needed a win, 100%.
That's what he got. So,
I think if they had fed this Dan Hooker, fed's the wrong word, if they had matched this Dan Hooker up with Rafael Fiziev, Rafael Dos Anjos, any of those sort of more upper echelon lightweights, I don't know if this fight would have gone his way.
Yeah,
that's just my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Dan Hooker knocks them all out. But
there was some other great fights on the card though. Molly McCann, Aaron Blanchfield. Blanchfield looked amazing. Unbelievable performance. Ryan Spann with the huge KO of Dominic Reyes. I don't know.
I hope he stops. I hope Reyes considers.
I think his chin is just. I think his chin's given up on him, and it happens to everyone. But man,
if his chin's in, I don't mean to cut you off, sorry, but it's like even if his chin is there, like let's say he could just take a big shot. It's like, man, it's like you've been knocked out 3 times in a row, like in the last 2 years. So that's probably once every 7 months, basically.
Yeah. Time up on the career, I think. But ultimately, really fun card. Give me your out of 10.
Probably about an 8. I'd give about an 8 out of 10. I was thinking 7.5, but then the Chandler fight kind of pushed it over for me. I'd probably say an 8 out of 10. For me, again, this is just me personally, but I just suffered from a massive crash after the Poirier Chandler fight. Like my energy was just zapped. So by the time I got to the main event, I was like,
I'd go an 8.5. I mean, it's definitely one of the best cards I think we've seen, just due to the amount of excitement, the build-up, everything, the anticipation. I think the whole thing was unbelievable. But we'll keep it short and sweet today. Don't want to keep it too long. But look, unbelievable card. Congratulations to Alex Pereira, the new middleweight champion of the world. I'm sure Izzy will be back. He's still the one of the consensus goats of the middleweight division. Any last thoughts from you, man?
Only thing that I would add to that is that, of course, we got 2 confirmations for UFC in Perth, which hopefully we might be able to get out to. But obviously, Alex Volkanovski going up and challenging Islam Makhachev for the lightweight belt, and then the interim lightweight belt. The interim featherweight belt between Yair Rodriguez and Josh Emmett. So that Perth card is going to be absolutely insane. It won't stay together. I guarantee you. It will. Everything will chop and change. And by Perth, we're going to have Alex Volkanovski fighting Robert Whittaker or Paulo Costa or something, because these things never stay together, unfortunately. Yeah. But hopefully, maybe the MMA gods will be nice. It will stay together. But that's about my final thoughts. So unless you got anything left to add?
Nope. I'm all good, my man.
Well, then we'll call it there, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.
Peace.